Hey, I'm a creep, what's up? And today I'm gonna do a review on The Bends by Radiohead. It's the second studio album of the band. It was the year 1995. The band was tired from all the touring for their debut album Pablo Honey, which only had one song that appealed to the masses, Creep. And Creep isn't a bad song, not at all, but the response to the song Pop is Dead is quite dreadful, to be honest. So Radiohead decided to calm down and recollect themselves with some new musical material. But this time, it's more hard-hitting, catchy, lively, immense, and potent. And that's why the band soared like a giant bird on the sky on this record. With the depressing concepts from Pablo Honey and their new refreshing and mature sound, the band suddenly became 10 times better. The album started off with the stargazing epic Planet Telex. Everything is broken. Tom York moaned in his most sincere way. The song really shines bright with the massive waves of guitar on this track. Johnny Greenwood is playing the guitars very masterfully. Although the song is about futility, it's dystopian, it still has an energizing instrumentals that goes really well with Tom York's young and pure vocals, and it makes an amazing album opener. I'm giving Planet Telex a 9 out of 10. As these background noises continue, we have the title track.
Where did we go from here? The words are coming out of wind. Where are you now? When I need you.
Where firmly struck guitar kicks in like any Pablo Honey song, except this time the music is more intricate and compact with Tom York's quiet vocals which sounds like it's about to burst at any moment. And the bends refers to a decompression sickness when a diver goes back up too quickly, and maybe it's a metaphor for the band's sudden fame. Although it is Oasis infused, but the improved lyrics and the sassy sounds makes it a 7 to an 8 out of 10. And Tom York said High and Dry is a dreadful song, but in my opinion, although it's really unspectacular, it's still not that bad. Not at all.
Don't leave me home. Don't leave me dry.
With some really familiar sounding hooks borrowed from Pablo Honey and the sweet and gentle vocals. We have a decent guitar songs that springs well, and it certainly does sound more ambitious and polished. In a good way. I'm giving High and Dry a 7 to an 8. I also want to talk about the B-sides, Killer Cars, which is another powerful hit from Radiohead, an excursion of loud guitars blasting out without a break. And I really like it, although it's not as thoughtful and as intricate as other Radiohead songs, it's still okay. And the feathery, milky misery continues on Fake Plastic Trees, which is sheer beauty.
The green plastic watering can for a fake Chinese rubber plant and a fake plastic girl.
Tom wails about rubber trees and people made out of silicone and polystyrene, a very convincing slow rant of the modern society. Yeah, the world now kind of sucks. The world now is very unnatural and pretentious too in this song. And when the strings get intense and the song hits its climax, it gets really emotional and powerful. I get goosebumps listening to it. It wears her out. It's a very shameful and regretful fact that no one notices. And with Norman Reedus in the video and Tom York breaking into tears after recording the song for the third time, the warm-blooded beauty in the reflection of an ugly truth, Fake Plastic Trees deserves a 10. And the B-side, India Rubber, really captures Johnny Greenwood's laughter. The punk and alt-rock influences are heavy on Bones, as Tom yelled, "When you've got to feel it in your bones." And it's a simple but memorable chorus. It's a decent song. The guitars towards the end kinda wander here and there, creating a harmony. I'm giving Bones a 7. Then it's Nice Dream, a very gospelized guitar acoustic that has its influences from various folk musicians. And yes, it's very dreamy and buttery. The delivery is smooth and gentle. It's okay, but it doesn't stand out that much. The brackets or parentheses on the title serves a bit of sarcasm, or maybe it's just that the title is a little bit ill-conceived. I'm giving this one a 7 out of 10. Just as the album sounds like it's going downhill, the band slammed us with another screaming energetic power hit, Just.
You do it to yourself, you do. And that's why Radiohead says you do it to yourself, just you and no one else.
With one of the most intriguing and smartest music videos in the 90s, a man laid on the ground and couldn't move, and everyone who touched him did the same thing. "Can't get the stink off. It's been hanging around for days," is the famous opening lines sung with some scratchy guitars. And when the chorus hits, the guitars scream as Tom York shouted, "You do it to yourself, just you." And that is one of the most ecstatic moments of the record. Near the end, it becomes something jazzy and funky and playful, and I really love it. It's the surprisingly good result of a little competition between Johnny Greenwood and Tom York. I'm giving Just a 9 out of 10. My Iron Lung comes after the previous rocker. And it is another powerful smash from the band, filled with anger and displeasure and chaos in a fancy way. With one of the coolest and catchiest bass lines, and the angry, grunge-flavored chorus really spiced the album up. And an iconic bridge, "You can be frightened, it's okay," which is some brilliant lyrical work, with some inspiration from Nirvana's Heart-Shaped Box sprinkled into the song. It's simply another masterpiece that lands into my top 20 favorite Radiohead songs. I'm also giving My Iron Lung a 9. Also, I'm going to talk about The Trickster, which I love a lot. The drums and the instrumentals here are brilliant, and so are the vocal delivery. It has a bittersweet chord progression, like Creep, which I love. And it just feels so worrisome and cloudy. I enjoy it a lot. Punch Drunk Lovesick Sing-Along has a nice freakish vibe to it. Permanent Daylight and Lozenge of Love also gives this sunshine warmth. And to take a break, we found ourselves in Bulletproof, I Wish I Was, which is a very somber and soft acoustic from the band that's really underrated. Tom York's vocals here brings echoes, and it somehow reminds us about something regretful, something unfortunate. Well, I guess that happened, and I can't do anything about it. That's what the music sounds like here. The guitar swings sadly, as Ed O'Brien added in some sound effects to embellish the overall sound. It is a very saturating, very milky and soft song that has a beautiful chorus. Unlike Fake Plastic Trees, this song is more irregular, more insecure, more translucent. And with the drony sound effects going from low to high pitch, I had to give this a solid 8. Black Star starts off like it literally starts off in the middle of a longer song. And yes, it's a love song. It's a love song that reminds me of Vegetable off their previous record. Again, there's not much to say about this song despite how many times have I heard it. The instrumentals really felt lovelorn, melancholic, and moody, and I kinda enjoyed overall. I'm giving Black Star a 7. The next track is Sulk, a gloomy slow jam about a shooting spree in 1987, and Tom also cut the line, "Just shoot your gun," because of Kurt Cobain's untimely suicide. Sometimes you sulk, sometimes you burn. Tom did an impersonation of Bono like many other musicians, including Coldplay. That's why the song also felt a bit Coldplay-ish, although it's more original and old. Maybe not the best song, but I'm still giving Sulk a 6. Before we hit the final track, I just want to address on a few B-sides, including the slow and moody Bishop's Robes and the sweet and grungy Banana Co. But Talk Show Host remains as my favorite Radiohead B-side.
You want me? Fucking will come and find me. I'll be waiting.
Tom York's sassy and mean vocals on this thing really stands out. The instrumentals are raw and clear. The drums toward the end was so rhythmic, it's crazy. This song is used in a movie called Romeo and Juliet, I think, and it really doesn't sound like it. But it's great as itself. I'll be waiting with a gun and a pack of sandwiches and nothing. Another iconic line. The groovy bass and Phil Selway's charismatic drumming really makes this amazing. And of course, we finally reach the end. Street spirits fade out. Yep, that's the song. That forbidden song that's kept away from my ears for quite some time because it's so dramatically depressing. It's cursed. The guitarist quietly weeps blood with a simple A minor chord. The vocals creep into the mist of sounds as it chillingly progresses like a knife cutting into your flesh slowly. A dark tunnel with no light at the end, described Tom York. Yes, it's as chillingly sad and intensely dark and deep as it looks like in the music video. Just when you think there's a bit of hope, this song just says, nope. There's no hope, and there's only one way, and it's to die. The lyrical work here is something next level. Rows of houses, all bearing down on me. I can feel their blue hands touching me. I never knew how to describe that feeling until I saw this line, and that's exactly how to describe the feeling. And I'm gonna talk about the phrase blue hands a little bit. It's not blue hands like it's a person's arm painted in blue. The blue hand is like a painting. It's kind of cartoony and translucent, and there's no context to it. So the hands are just reaching out either for help or just for a false sense of comfort. And this is a lyrical masterpiece. Everything will one day swallow a hole and create an empty vacuum space in air, like a black hole. And the I can feel death line also feels chilling and intense like the rest of the song. Immerse your soul in love is perhaps one of the best lines Tom York ever wrote. This song is beyond depressing. It feels like it is so depressing and dark, it starts to feel numb and it becomes some sort of black, dark matter. And that's really one of the most impressive pieces of art I've ever encountered. I'm giving Street Spirits Fade Out a perfect score, a 10. Overall, the band had shockingly improved since their debut album. There are moments on this record that completely exceeded my expectations and became something next level. Despite having some slow and insignificant moments, there's a lot of great and powerful music material on this album. Tom York continued to rage, but in a more mature way, and Tom began to write more about the society, his anger, alienation, and darkness, instead of wailing about love and self-esteem. And that's why this album is both powerful and insightful. The worst is Sulk and the best is Street Spirits Fade Out. I'm giving Radiohead's The Bends a solid 9 out of 10. So, have you listened to Radiohead The Bends? From 1 to 10, how much would you rate it? Like if you like and subscribe if you want more.